So in the last two lectures, we have gone through many things. Again, this is the basic formula. Let's just refresh about what we have learned. So we have, this is the very basic formulas that in the investment methods that we always use. Valuations, the valuation value is equal to the income divided by the rate. And then we have a freehold and a leasehold property. We talk about the very simplified one. So just freehold is always like they are be there forever. So it's always be there forever for the freehold. So it's be there forever. That the one thing to do is that you have to times the year purchase in the perpetuity. The year purchase in perpetuity. If you times the year purchase in perpetuities, you're able to get the value of the property itself. And then we also looking into that the freehold for any house. In this case, they will have the review of the land. I think this is also quite a normal questions that you always see in this one. Term and also reversion. Well, is it possible that you have a lot of reversion, a lot of changings of the reversion? So I said that every 5 years they review the contract again. Well, there is a possibility, definitely. But again, so it's all about forecasting. If you're doing like investments method, it's all about forecasting. So it's very difficult to forecast in this. No matter how one forecast that, how good is the future, how the market will go. Usually, it's not that accurate unless it is a very stable economy that might do. So my personal thought is that when I talk about forecasting, there are so many uncertain factors. You can't really forecast something. But then if you go back to the last 2-3 years, everyone would say that the aviations, the tourism, the resort are doing very, very well. I don't would say that if you go back to the 2-3 years before the COVID-19. But who will expect the COVID-19 will happen, right? So no one will expect that. So that's the case. There are so many uncertainties. So because of that as well, so sometimes we don't forecast at that much longer time. When we talk about term itself, usually like we just do one review. Definitely there are lecturers and also there are valuation books that say, okay, fine, every 5 years they do one review. Then every 5 years you add 500, 500, 500 and so on. Well, we do know about that one, possible as well. But just for your opinion, just for your information, that there is a lot of uncertainty. There are a lot of uncertainties when we using forecasting. But still, we still do forecasting, but as long as we don't do it as that much longer, the longer that you forecast, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years from now, the more uncertainty factors there are. So a lot of times it's not that accurate. It's not that accurate. And as we talk about the against the freehold properties, and then remember when you doing the freehold properties or either leasehold properties, when you use the income itself, you have to ensure that income is a net income, right? No matter it is the profit or like it's a rental itself. So you have to fulfill two conditions. One is that it is an annual rental. Secara tahunan, dia tak boleh bulanan. Kalau bulanan ni kena talap lah. 12 syarikat dia adalah secara tahunan. And then also it must be net. So you have to deduct all the outgoings. Outgoings could be like your insurance, could be your repair, could be your management fees, right? Because you are not simply receive the rentals from the tenant. And then that's you claim that there's all the profit that you have. But it's not. It is not. You have to ensure that it is net income. You have to ensure that it is the net income. That's the thing you have to focus. Another thing is that you have to ensure that it is annually. Annually is secara tahunan, dia bukan bulanannya begitu. So we will use the rental. Sometimes we use the profit as well. Let's say if it is a business property that you operate the business itself, buat kedai kopitiam ke, but that one is actually under the income approach. There's one called profit method. I'm not sure whether we have time to go through the profit method. Kalau ada masa, then saya akan share lah how to do the profit method. But this subject actually I have to teach the investment method only. But if I have time, I'm more than happy to share with everyone how to do the profit method. But it's more or less the same. You have to ensure that the profit generated from the business operation itself, so it able to you can say annual profit. You cannot simply use monthly profit, but still average of the yearly annual profit itself, and then you times the year purchase, and you have to minus some outgoing as well, definitely, to get the net, profit. That's the things you want to do. So term and reversion, and then we go into also initial and reversionary yield as well. This is for your assignment, so nothing much. Just apply the formula V equal to I over R, and then the intention to get the initial and also the reversionary yield, and this is where our yield is coming from. So likely when you're doing valuations, you may ask why they are have the R, have the I. How is I and R coming from? Some might just use the some might just simply use the interest rate from the bank itself, but the bank is not really the interest of the bank is not really reflect the profit it generated from the market itself. It's not really able to reflect the profit as generated in the market itself. It is not a good indicator. It's not something that can actually reflect the earnings from the property. So what we going to do is that we actually need to do a calculations using the similar types of the properties, especially those in the neighborhood. Kalau ada transaction kalau ada transaction, kalau you nak pakai yang asking price boleh, tapi asking price usually are much more higher lah, because they will give discounts and so on. You have to take note of that one as well. So you can calculate initial yield and also reversionary yields based on that one. And we go to some advanced reversionary method as well, in which we discuss about the freehold using the core layer method. This one, top slides, bottom slides. I actually don't recommend the student using this one. It is not a norm in Malaysia again. Many valuation firms not practicing this one, but they are, so sometimes your boss, your lecturers, they prefer such method. It is not a norm. It is not a normal practice in Malaysia. But sometimes you read through the books itself, sometimes they were using such method as well. So jangan panik lah kalau nanti baca buku valuation dia nampak ada cara sebegini. Dia sebenarnya consider lebih kurang sama, but it's a much more safer ways method to predict the values of the property itself. So we discussed this one as well. And that's how we go to the leasehold in the last lectures. The leasehold is slightly a little bit complex because the leasehold itself it will involve some tenants and likely subtenants as well. And most important is that kalau kita pakai leasehold tu, one of the things is that kita kena gunakan dual rate. Kalau you purchase, kalau single rate adalah untuk yang freehold property. Kalau dual rate selalunya adalah dipakai untuk apa? Leasehold property. Kenapa leasehold property perlu gunakan yang dual rate dan bukan single rate? Salah satu school of thought adalah ada banyaklah explanation dia. The most popular one sebenarnya adalah yang mana sebab you invest dalam yang leasehold property, you need to reinvest your money in another property so that you can gain back what actually you have lost. Because this property is not owned by you, even though you pay for the rental and so on, you're not able to earn anything by the end of the contract. You have to ensure that by the end of the contract itself, you were able to get back actually what you have lost. So you have to rent or likely you invest in other properties to get that back. But another school of thought for you to much more easy to understand is that you need to have the relocation cost. All right, once you have your leasehold contract expired, you need to relocate to another places. So you need to have the sinking fund available at this moment, so that by the time that contract is ended, you can move, relocate to another places. So that's why the annual sinking fund, the due rates, is come into place when in the leasehold property. And then similar as well, we do the terms and reversions as well. So today we're going to focus on one particular item or scenarios in the leasehold property, only happen to leasehold. Yang mana adalah so-called profit rent scenario. Profit rent scenario berlaku sebab ada head tenant dan juga ada sub tenant. So kita ada head tenant dan kita ada sub tenant juga. Ini berlaku sebab yang landlord dia rent property kepada seorang tenant ataupun yang lessee lah, yang mana dia sebenarnya dia dapat kontrak sewaan ni lebih much more cheaper than the market rental, and then she re-rent to another person, so-called subtenant, and then subtenants would rent it actually much more higher rental than the head tenant himself. So the head tenant can make some profit from that one. So compared to the freehold, it could be a slightly more complex because other head tenant, other subtenant, other subtenant juga mungkin. So yeah, that's the case. So this is called the profit scenarios, alright. This has happened because rental paying by the lessee head tenants is lesser than the market value itself, right? And rent received by the subtenants is somehow higher than the rent paid to the freeholders, right? So let's look into this example as well. The full market rentals, also known as the full rentals value, is katakan sekarang ni adalah 100,000, and the lease rent or passing rent adalah sebanyak 50,000. So kalau kita nak dapat profit rent tu sebenarnya adalah your full rental value minus your passing rent. Then your profit rental is 50,000. 50,000. So what happened here is that we have the full market rental. Sekarang ni yang full market rental adalah 100,000. 100,000 di full market rental. And then at this moment the rental itself only 50,000. So the existing, the so-called, kalau di sini dinampilkan the passing rent. Rent adalah in Malaysia 50,000 or passing rental. Sometimes they say it's a passing rental is 50,000. So your profit rent adalah sama dengan your full market rental minus your passing rental. You get 50,000. Right? Get 50,000. So we can also say that in this case the profit rent sama dengan, sometimes they use the words FRV. FRV stands for full, sama dengan full market rental, tapi dia ni dia nama dia full rental value. Nama dia adalah full rentals value. Lepas tu minus dengan your passing. Passing rental maksudnya adalah yang rental you pay lah. Rental you pay sekarang. Rental pay. yang dalam masa kontrak tu masa you bayar sekarang ni. So in this case the profit rent adalah 50,000. Adalah 50,000. The difference is called profit rental. The difference is called profit rentals because the lessor enjoy the difference as a profit. Ada biasa kan 50,000 kan, so as a profit. For example, dia sebenarnya boleh sublet. Kalau allow lah under the lease agreement, the premises for 100,000 per annum, just enjoy a profit of 50,000 per annum. If the lessors cannot sublet, he still enjoy the 50,000 as opportunity cost. He can reinvest his 50,000 profit to another premises. He can reinvest this 50,000 to other places to earn money as well. So it actually is still making a profit based on the rent. But yeah, this specific scenario hanya berlaku lah di mana? Dia adalah berlaku di dalam this property yang mana ada yang tenant, subtenant dan sebagainya. So this is another way to present about the ideas of how the profit rents could happen. So let's look. So first of all, look at the valuation state. And also end of the list as well. This is valuation. The valuation is the sum of the date of inspection. So it means present. To put it in simple word, I can say that this is your date of inspection. Kalau you buat valuation, you perlulah pergi untuk buat inspection di property tersebut. So ada sama dengan date of inspection. To put it in a more simple way, you can say it's now present. Sekarang valuation date. Pada hari ini lah, hari ini you buat inspection tu hari ini lah. And then end of list, we don't know when is the list itself lah. So what happened is that there are two layers here. One is that kalau yang ni adalah your freeholders, yeah. So this is your basically your tenant lah. This is your owner lah. Your owners, and then owner akan sewa kepada so-called lessor lah. It depends. What is the difference between them? Kalau dia sebenarnya dia sewa these properties at a much more lower rental. So you find that they actually have a difference between the rental pays and the rent to be received. Actually, this is what we call the for supposedly received, I would say, full rental value. This is the full rental value. So this is actually the FRV, full rental value. So you should say that actually there is a difference between the full rental value and also rental pay, and this actually resulted in the profit rent. This is the rent received here. Actually, this is to be received. Actually, this is the full rental value. Yeah. So then you will get your profit rent here lah. So anyhow, you don't have to worry about this one as well. We go into more details when we come to the exercise. You will get better understanding. At this moment, you might still get slightly a little bit confused about the terms that we use in this throughout this one, but let's do an exercise. You will get a better ideas of what's supposed we want to do. So a shop house. Let me demo to you first. The first question, in case you're not familiar with this one. So in this case, a shop house which has been sublet 2 years ago at a 10,000 per annum by the head tenants. Right? So a shop house which has been sublet 2 years ago at 10,000 by the head tenants, and the rent review will take place for areas of 5 years. Consider the current market rent is at 15,000 per annum, and the leasehold return is expected is at 6%. Determine the leasehold value. They cannot calculate yang value on the property tersebut. This exercise, the intention is not to calculate the value of the property, but it is intended to calculate the leasehold values or the interest of the head tenants sahaja. So they just want you to calculate the interest of the head tenants. So what do we mean by interest of the head tenants? So means that kalau ada orang adalah siapa-siapa dia nak beli interest tersebut, so how much you have to pay to the head tenant. So it's not to calculate the value of the properties, but the intention is to calculate the interest of the head tenant. So let's do this question. At this moment, any question from everyone? Any things that you want to ask us? Any things that you find that is confusing for you at this moment? You want to have further clarifications? Anyone? Kalau ada, I'm happy to answer you. Anyone have any things you'd like to ask? You okay? Okay. So to put it in a simple words, class, to put it in a much more simple word, for now you only have to understand this formula. Not formula, but just the concept that profit rent. So to put it in a much more simple way, you can ignore what I'm saying just now, just the fundamentals ideas. You just remember this one, profit rent. Profit rent is this sama dengan your full rental value minus your passing rental. Profit rent sama dengan your full rental value minus your passing your rental. Right? So that's the case. So in this case, what is the profit rent, class? Kalau kita kira untuk profit rent in this scenario, kita cari dulu full rental value dekat mana. Kalau market rent, kalau di sini yang ni full rental, market rental adalah yang ni 15,000. Yang ni adalah FRV. Yeah, and then where is your passing rental? Your PR. Yang ni. This is your passing rental. What happens how is that you have your 15,000, you have your 15,000 minus your 10,000, you get 5,000. You get 5,000. So what happens now is that you assume the contract will end in 5, because the review is taken for every 5 years. We assume that contract will end in 5 times as well. And actually it has been sublet 2 years ago. So it means that left how many years? 3 years kan. So it means that sebenarnya dia macam ni. Jadi hanya tinggal 3 tahun. Sebelum ni adalah ini adalah 9 minus 1 minus 2. Tapi yang kita tak kira lah sebab jadi berlaku pada 2 tahun yang lalu. Selalu ingat kelas kita hanya value present day sahaja. Now means that now the present. We don't deal with the past. That's why I'm saying that dalam yang valuation tu kita jangan deal with the past valuation. Kita tak guna yang kira yang sebelum pada hari ni. Kita kira future value. Yes. Kita ada compounding to cover the future. Kita ada yang discounting. But discounting sampai hari ini sahaja. We don't go back further to the previous. Kita tak ada yang past then go back to the previous macam tu. So yang short house ni sebenarnya dia dah sublet 2 years ago dan kontrak dia adalah 5 tahun. So maksudnya tertinggal 3 tahun sajalah. So kita nak kira yang this part sahaja. Kita nak kira this particular part sahaja. Okay kelas, boleh faham kan? So berapa tahun tertinggal? 3 tahun, 3 years. Because we assume that if we review for 5 years, the contract will end in 5 years as well lah. So for now, it's only have 3 years left because ini dah sublet 2 years ago. Dah sublet 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago. Then left about only 3 years. And from today onwards, it's 3 years lah. Okay class, boleh ke? Okay. So then we just apply the formulas accordingly. Nothing special. So we know that the profit rank for this moment is so we know that the profit rank at this moment is profit rank now is the 5,000. So 5,000, and we need to calculate the interest of the head tenant and the tenant too lah. So nothing much. Basically, we just apply the year purchase formulas to rate, right? So what happened is that we can apply the year purchase, 3 years, all right, 3 years, and it doesn't give any interest, 6%. Okay. It doesn't give any. It only give you 6% only, but it's supposed to have another the annual sinking fund here. So let's say annual sinking fund here, ASR, ASF, sorry, ASF now is 3%. Yes, 3%. Because it's a leasehold, you have to apply the dual rate. So in this case, 6%, and then your another ASF equal to 3%, let's say, because it doesn't give you the 3%. You apply the formulas accordingly. The end is 3. Things here you have 3. You get 2.6074. You get 2.6074. So profit range just now is 5,000. This one here. 2.6074. Better. get about 1,3,037 more or less 13,037 ringgit. So what does this mean? This is the tenant's interest. This is the tenant interest. This is the tenant interest. So what it means by tenant interest, that means that if your tenants want to sell this interest, you want to sell the contract, you want to transfer his contract to another person. So this is the amount that he's supposed to transfer. Let's say you are the tenant now, and likely you don't want to rent this property anymore. You might want to migrate ataupun you nak transfer ke tempat lain kan. So you think that okay fine, I'm good enough, I don't want to continue my contract with the owner again. So you may want to transfer your interest to another person. Instead of you terminate the contract with the owner, you can actually transfer. Tapi ya ada subjective lah kepada your agreement dengan your owner tu It's subjective to the agreement with the owner. Now you want to transfer the contract to another person. So how much the another person supposed to pay to you? So in this case, he had to pay you for 13,000 lah, 3 plus 1,000 as the tenant interest. So that would mean that you nak jual your lease, your contract kepada seorang lagi. So yang ni adalah jumlah amount dia lah. Bukan nak jual property tu pun. You nak jual contract you sahaja. You nak jual transfer yang remaining years 3 tahun kepada seorang lain tu. Tenant jugalah. Okay, class. Everyone okay or not okay? Faham ke class? Is that okay for everyone? Any questions? No questions. No questions, class. No, everyone's okay. Okay, good. Sometimes I'm worried. I'm not sure. Okay, everyone's really okay, fine. Yeah. So nothing much actually. Is similar to the cases that we use. Instead of the rental itself, what we say we using a profit rent dan tujuan dia adalah gila interest. So now we try another question. Kalau you dah okay, it's not difficult. Class, try this question and let me know the answer. It's very similar to the previous question. It's very similar actually, more or less the same. So try this question and let me know your answer, class. Try this class and then type in your answer in the chat box and see how you go. Because you get the answers. Some students get it correctly. I think they type the chat box. It's private. It's a private message. I see some of them are typing here. So yeah, it's correct. It's 40,752. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Some students are typing in. Oh yes, Amira, Low, and also Penny. Yes, it's 40,752. Do you need me to demo class? Just a very quick one like this if you want to. Yeah. Everyone can get the answers. I think it's not difficult, right? For a direct one. What you're going to do is again, you have to find your profit rank dulu lah. First thing first, kalau you nampak yang ada yang profit rank question, then you have to find out is what is the profit rank. So again, your profit rank, right? Rentals value minus your passing rental. Your profit rent sama dengan your full rental value minus your passing rental. Your full rental value di sini adalah 26,000 minus berapa? 20,000. How much you get? You get 6,000. So then you're going to use, because it's a leasehold, it's a leasehold, kita akan guna year purchase due rate. Kita akan guna year purchase due rate. What happens is that YP, alright. Sini adalah 10 years, berarti tertinggal 10 years kan? So your N is 10 years. Then what else you have is that your I is 6%. Your I is 6%, and then your ASF saving rate lah. Your saving rate is 3%. You apply accordingly lah. So you apply the year purchase due rate formula. Just write down for you. So 0.06, 0.06 plus 0.3 by 10 years minus 1, likely get 6.72921. Then your let's put together, and then this is equal to 6.7921. Then you times these two together, plus update bersama kan. Then eventually you get 40,007 2.6. So it's 40,752 lah. 40,752. All right, everyone, could you able to answer this question? Okay, good. It's not difficult, right? Yeah, good. So now we're looking into a more not challenging, but somehow a more scenario, means that a more complex scenarios that we have in the next questions. So I want you to try this question. It's a bit lengthy question because you have to calculate the interest from different parties. So if you ever watch the was it a very famous movie last time, it's called Avenger. Not sure you still recall. Now it's no longer that popular. I think it's now the latest one that everyone's talking about is the, at least my nephew is talk about that one. It's about the King Kong versus Godzilla. you know, King Kong's versus Godzilla. I think that's and also the DC movie, the remake of the DC movie. There's another one, the Mortal Kombat. But I think everyone know Avengers. So Tony Stark owns the Freehold office tower, known as the Stark Tower complex. Alright. What happened is that he leased his tower to Lockheed. Alright. So the Tony is the owner lah. This is a freehold, and he is the owner. Dia sewa lah tower dia kepada Lockheed. No, it's Lockheed. And then 500,000 per annum net of outgoing for 20 years since 10 years ago. Lockheed, because he found that there's a profit to make, right? Instead of using the tower by himself, he sublet the tower to another subtenant, Mr. Tall, for 650,000 per annum. The sublease is for the remaining lease held by Lockheed. Right. So expected that the current market rental untuk property tersebut sepatutnya your full rentals value at this moment is 700,000 per annum. The yield of similar freehold tower is 7.5%, using it throughout. The leasehold return expected at 6.5%, and the saving rate is 3%. Calculate the interest of the following: Tony interest, Lockheed interest, and also Tall's interest. So basically, Tony is the owner. Lockheed is the head tenant, and the Tall is the subtenant. So we have three parties here. Tony is the owner of the property itself, freehold property. Lockheed is that he is actually lack the properties from Tony, but he found that he could actually can make money from that one. He's a smart guy, can make money from that one. So he re-ran his properties to Tall. So eventually you have three parties here. So I want you to try this question, because I give you it's a bit lengthy, this question, 50 minutes. Then we come back here to discuss about this question. You have to calculate the interest of three parties. Tony is one, Lockheed is one, and also Tall is another one. You good, class? So give it a try. These questions are much more complex and more difficult scenario, a more challenging scenario, because you have three parties here. Give it a try. I give you 5 minutes, and then we come back here to discuss about this one. So you need to have three answers for Tony, Lockheed, and also Tall. Good. Here we go.